Hello and welcome to Easy Ag. I'm Matt Long and I'm here today to talk to you about the system to increasing yield. Everybody has a yield goal. Some of you might even have New Year's resolutions or yield resolutions. The problem with that is we find that over time, Mother Nature has an immense impact on our yield. And so we get discouraged because we think there's really nothing I can do about what my crop yields. The reality of it is, though, that with a systems approach, you can increase yield in the good year and maintain yield in the bad years. And what I mean by that is yield over time should always be increasing if your system is working. So here's an example, and I always liked Karl Rove back in the day on Fox News, and he'd pull up his whiteboard. So I'm gonna have to get myself a dry erase board to visit with you guys in the future. But here's an example of yield over time. And so we look at this yield over time chart and we're like, man, don't have a clue what's going on here. But if we graph the trend of that yield over time, we know that yield is increasing. So our system for high yields is working. And there might be many things that make this graph kind of noisy, but most generally, the things that are making the noise in this graph is uncontrollable variables like the weather and Mother Nature. So when do we know that it's time to make a change in our systems approach? Well, here's a true chart of my irrigated APH. Yield over time is flat. It's time to make a change. Another time that it might be time to make a change is when yield over time is decreasing. And you got to look at this at a pretty long-term, as a pretty long-term view, and you have to look at it when you can understand what the impact of the Mother Nature variables was in that yield. And so take your yields, chart them out, look at the trend line, think about over that time period, where was the, what did I do? What was my system to increasing yield? And let's have a discussion this year about if there's a change that needs to be made in your system to get that trend line on the way up over the long term. That's all for today. I'm Matt Long, helping you farm differently, providing information you can't get anywhere else.